welcome back to another on Wrestling and to another edition of Raw out of 10. And yeah, perhaps the most anticipated Raw in years and years, CM Punk returning in Survivor Series, and we gave him a mic on WWE for the first time in pretty much a decade. Yeah, we all knew that was going to be box office. That came in our main event now, and we started things off with another return. Randy Orton, after a recap video of everything that went down with CM Punk, and yeah, new intro music for Raw as well, which was decent. I'd say not ground, but Randy came off to kick things out with a huge copy. He seemed really happy to be back and posed with some fans for some pics as he made his way to the ring, and even signed an action figure for a fan. The Viper said he would happily return when Cody called him up, not only because of their friendship, but also because he wants to be part of War Games, and the man who invented it, of course, Dusty. Orton said he had some unfinished business with the Bloodline, including Jay. So then Rhea Ripley came out by herself and said Judgment Day had taken over. Randy was unimpressed and said Daddy's back. The segment ended with Orton promising to take out Mysterio on Monday night. It was a great segment. Orton did a great job controlling the crowd. Great seeing him back with a smile on his face, and Jet obviously set up a match later on in the show. It was then time for tag team turmoil. After Adam Pearce had a mini meltdown last week, he booked several tag teams to compete in the tag team turmoil match to see who would get the shot at the titles. Akira Tozawa noticed represented Alpha Academy to start the bout against DIY, and yeah, DIY eliminated them, then they eliminated Indus before the Creed Brothers eliminated DIY. They then beat the New Day and then Imperium. However, having the first hour of the show commercial free was a good move because it allowed WWE to give the tag team division some attention, which it sorely needed for months, and the Creed got so much time to show what they could do, and yeah, really showed off how good they are. They're coming across as serious contenders, as Judgment Day said backstage. So yeah, this worked really nicely. I think put the Creed over, and that will be a really good match whenever we get it at some point in the coming weeks, you'd think. Before it was time for Ivar versus Bronson Reed, but before that, Cody Rhodes declared himself as the first entrant in the men's Royal Rumble match. This led to Nakamura addressing him from the big screen. The artist used a video distraction so he could sneak up behind the American Nightmare and missed him in the face. So it turns out that's who Nakamura's been talking about the whole time, and I'm not against it, to be honest. That'll be a banger match from when it happened. But yeah, back to the match. Both superstars tried to overpower each other with everything they had. They each displayed their strength and striking ability through the bout. Matches like this are few and far between these days, so it's a nice change. As yeah, Biggie would say, man slapping man meat. And yeah, he was probably smiling from ear to ear watching this. After Valhalla was ejected from ringside, both men counted out while fighting in the timekeeper's area. They continued to fight through the crowd until security tried to break them up. They used guards and weapons against each other. This was just plain fun from start to finish. The ending will upset some, but it will lead to an even better rematch down the line, methinks. So yeah, this was really good, really fun. These style of matches, like I say, and yeah, leaves room for more as well, which I think will suit both guys down to the ground. So yeah, good stuff. After a backstage segment, Zoe Stark and Nia Jax ended up in a match this week. Stark used her speed to avoid Jax and hit a few strikes early on, but the irresistible false size and power eventually became too much for her to manage. This wasn't a particularly intimidating contest, so it did a good job showing how much Jax has improved during her time away from the ring, and maybe Stark looking like a competent powerhouse face. The second half of the match, was much better than the first. You could hear the crowd reacting more with each move, and Jax scored the pin, but Stark had a good showing. But at the same time, I do think Stark should have won this. Just coming off a loss, kind of build her up again. I don't think Jax, with how she stands out, really needs a massive win like this. So yeah, maybe I'm not against the result. The match wasn't terrible, but I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Before it's time for Chelsea Green and Piper Niven versus Natty and Tegan Knox for the titles. But before that, Seth Rollins came out to give a promo. Before he could say too much, the crowd started to chant CM Punk. The Visionary called him a hypocrite and said he didn't want to spend a single second talking about him. As he began to discuss who his next challenger would be, Drew McIntyre marched the ring. He said he needs to get his focus back. After losing at War Games, the way to do it is to win a world title Rollins has right now. The Visionary revealed he's defending against Jey Uso next week, which led to hit Scott hitting him with a suplex, headbutt out of nowhere, and then busted him open a bit. Uso came out to help Rollins drive him off. So yeah, this was a really good promo. Where it's going, you can tell it's leading to Rollins v Punk, and then the McIntyre Russo stuff continuing. We're getting a banger match next week. So yeah, on the whole, I was a massive fan of this promo and thought it was really well done. Before it was time for that tag title match, the old couple champions had a hard time combating the recently formed duo, but they were taking control during the break. Niven then picked up the win for her team in a crossbody to Knox. She hoisted up both belts as Green celebrated at ringside. The match was fine, but basically a filler ahead of the bigger stuff. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Dom took on Randy Orton, and yeah, Dom tried to take control early, but was forced when Viper hit a shoulder tackle. JD encouraged his staying to get back in the ring, which led to Orton beating him up some more. Surprisingly, Dom was able to get in some offense, and the Legend Killer did a great job setting for him before he took over again. Jelly Roll was sitting in the front row and got into an argument with McDonough. He pushed JD and Dom before shaking hands with Orton. The Viper and Dom put on a fun match that gave the crowd plenty of reasons to chant, and of course Orton got the win with an RKO. So yeah, I don't know, it was just kind of getting Randy back into the first things of the singles match, getting a big crowd pop for the RKO, and it did the job nicely. We all knew what this is going to be from the start, but I thought, for what it was fun stuff. So I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Before CM Punk made his long-awaited return to Raw with a promo, and the first thing he said when he got to the ring was, "It looks like hell froze over." He made a quick hockey joke to get a laugh before saying he was feeling like himself again. He said he was changed, that he's finally going to go home, which got big CM Punk chant going. He thanked everyone for not forgetting him, even when he wanted to forget himself. He said his wife, AJ Lee, is doing well and sends her regards, and that he was welcomed back with open arms by everyone. All in all, it's a pretty tame promo when you expected him to say. And yeah, I don't know, I expected a bit more, but at the same time, I think it will build over the coming weeks. So I'm not massively against it. It's just so real to see Punk back. And yeah, that's the overriding things we're all going to take from this. And overall, Raw gets a 7 out of 10 from me this week. I thought, yeah, a pretty fun episode of Raw. I have to say, Punk and Orton back on Raw, it's just absolutely amazing to see. And yeah, some really fun matches on there as well. Like Randy back in action, the Creed brothers, the big match between Eric and Ivar. I thought there was a lot of fun stuff on this episode of Raw. So yeah, let's get 7 out of 10. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, don't talk to them for daily wrestling news and subscribe to the channel. It's going to be really appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.